Is Manifestor Aura really closed and repelling? Almost every manifestor at the beginning of their human design journey learns that these are the qualities of their energetic presence. And this is not a nice thing to hear, which I know firsthand since I am a manifestor myself. So today I'm going to tell you a secret and debunk a myth that is harmfully disempowering manifestors across the globe. It is not made up by me twist on human design, but actually the original information which was lost in translation from Ra Uru Hu, the first messenger of this system. By the end of this episode, you will understand how to use your power of initiation, honoring the unique movement of your aura in social interactions. Today's episode is inspired by my manifestor client. We had a session a week ago, and she was sharing with me that realizing that she is a manifestor was a huge game changer for her to truly understand what has happened for her in social interactions. She described that very often she would feel so alone, never approached. She could feel the resistance and rejection from the interaction with other people. For example, she has 2 beautiful daughters, and when she would go to school for like parents meeting and stuff like that, she would come there and just stand by herself. All those other parents, mothers, they would just group and they would just be with themselves, and she was never part of that. And that felt really, really painful, and she could not understand. And when she came to human design, she was like, oh my God, yes, that's what is my experience. Maybe it's not my fault, but this aura which is making that happen. And on one hand, this is really empowering to have this knowledge about your aura type and how that interacts with the outside world. But it still doesn't change the fact that you feel that, yeah, I'm closed, my aura is closed and repelling, and that's it. And you may come to have insecurities about that. Even now, when you understand, maybe it's not your fault, but still, there's this disempowerment that manifestor may feel when they come to human design system and learn that information. So even if on some level it's a relief, on the other level it's like, okay, but I don't want to have that. I don't want to live like this. So, from the dry technical description, the qualities of the aura is closed and repelling. And that might sound really, really disempowering, like, oh my God, I repel. So to imagine that the manifestor energy is actually designed to come from the inside out, where there is a connection with the planets and the program Maya itself that is moving through a manifestor in a very specific way, and it is designed to use the manifestor vehicle in order to initiate an impact. That's why that aura needs to be closed, because it is such a powerful force that needs to be protected. It's like a spark in the beginning process of how it's supposed to be initiated to the world. And before it's ready, it cannot be interrupted with. So the aura itself, when it's closed, it is a protection. It is a beautiful, beautiful quality. So this spark of initiation needs time, and it's very vulnerable. So my dear manifestor, when you listen, I want you to know that your initiation is very fragile in the very beginning, like you. And that's why your aura needs to be harsh, needs to protect you. But the problem is, because it's closed, mostly people can feel only the outside of that, the impact of this harshness, this closeness. But they cannot see truly that vulnerability. They cannot. You are not designed to have it so obvious. So when you realize that this aura is not something that is detrimental to you, but actually it has meaning and purpose, and it is protecting you in a beautiful way, then you feel empowered and you change the meaning. And then your energy also changes. And you, as a manifestor, you are an initiator who is in charge of the way in which this impact will be communicated to this world through the alignment with your body and your inner authority first, and then through informing. So when you are a manifestor and you have this experience of these two parts of you, one that is feeling rejected and feeling negative about your own presence, and there is another part that knows what it's inside of you and how much beauty and how much you want to change and rock the world of other people and bring the impact and feel fulfillment. This is where it can be really confusing to how to connect those parts of you in a way that it's in the most alignment with your body. This topic is very dear to my heart, since my way of implementing human design analysis is enhanced and complemented by somatic parts work. This is a body-led approach that originates from a therapy method called internal family systems, IFS. And the goal of this approach is to bring harmony between different aspects of your nature that are very often in conflict with each other. And in your life, it may look like you sabotage yourself, or a different part of you is pulling you in the opposite direction that you desire to go. So you stay in the middle, small and hidden, almost like frozen. And it is a really painful experience, because deep down, you know you came to this earth for more. And I go in depth about this specific topic in my free online workshop, where I dive into how the gifts of human design and somatic parts work together are incredible way to have you actually embody and finally live out your true life purpose. So if that sparks your interest, you can register through the link in the description below. And here I would like to tell you a story which was quite eye-opening for me. Some time ago in a Manifestor Facebook group, someone posted a transcribe from the recording they had with Ra. He was a teenager or a kid at that point, and Ra was doing those recordings on tapes. So some time ago, I think it was still this year, what he did is he transcribed that, and because the information in that, it was quite eye-opening and myth-busting, and something I also experienced in my own life. So Ra shared in that recording, he answered the question of this kid. The question was about the repelling part, the quality of the aura, that it's close and repelling, and he feels that very often that he's rejected, and he was just disempowered about that aura. And what Ra said was amazing. He said, "Kid, listen, there is a lot of misinformation about this, but with the description of the aura, the first part of the description, which is closed, is always true. This is the mechanics. But Ra said that the repelling part is something they can choose. That you as a manifestor can choose to repel or not. I don't believe Ra saying this or this about my aura. I am checking in the information from my own life experience and the life experience of others. So coming back to this story of my client, where she would feel immediately like she's rejected and she feels like nobody can approach her, and that it's very disempowering even now, even though she knows human design. Imagine this state which you are in that kind of feeling, if that kind of belief that you always repel, and to combine it a little bit with what we know about the nervous system and how those patterns may show up for us. When you are a child and your caregivers or society, whoever is in your presence, they can sense this initiation energy, and they can sense that you can just do something and have an impact. Because you are close, they cannot sense really what's your true intention. There is always surprise in what manifestor does. So that's why people feel insecure. And when you were punished and controlled as a child, you always felt like no matter what, I'm going to be rejected. At that point, you didn't have awareness of how that works and what are your mechanics, so you made a meaning. Your nervous system made a meaning. So you have the ability to repel. That's something you can choose to do or not to do. So when you do it on the conscious level, it can be really great thing, because you don't want to be disturbed, you don't want to be controlled. You may feel this urge and like, don't fuck with me, get out of my way. That's when the repelling is really amazing, and it helps us to move quicker and to just not be influenced, which is incredible thing. And I experienced that in my own life. But when your whole essence wants to connect and create relationships and just feel visible and received and witnessed, but you still subconsciously, your body and your nervous system acts on the patterns of the repelling part to be protected. That's when this mechanism shows up. And that's what your aura does, even if you don't want to repel. You are always closed. So that's why the informing part comes in, to inform people what's happening for you, what's happening in your own world. And this is incredible strategy we have, which is not natural for us. It's something we practice to show world what is behind the closed aura. But repelling part, it's often something that impacts. And that's something maybe you don't want to do. You don't want to repel at that very moment. Your intention and your initiation is to connect. So what to do in this kind of situation? If you don't want to repel and you want to change that pattern, what I inform my client about, that in those moments where she feels like she's in a social interaction, to come back to her body first and connect. Does she really want to be alone right now? Does she want to be in her own space and not disturbed? And to check with her inner authority. And if she does, perfect. Probably nobody will approach her anyway. And that's what I often do in public situations most of the time, to be honest. But if there is the need and the clarity in her case, because she is emotional authority for the connection, to first connect with the body and the remembrance that she has the light and the spark and the beauty of changing the world. And that her presence and her energy itself, it's so impactful and so beautiful. And if her intention is to connect, to come from that empowerment to the peace and the feeling of being grounded with the earth and with your own body in this beautiful dance of neutrinos we have around us, how we are influenced by the transits and other people, and just to feel this movement of energy that comes from the program through her own being, and she can decide if she wants to initiate and inform. And the signpost, if that was the correct thing to do, is always peace. Manifestor in alignment, in their correctness, they are at peace. And because of the mechanics of your aura, that everything that comes through you goes inside out, you as manifestor have the most capacity to bring the peace and the peaceful presence to this world. I myself very often hear the feedback from people who or listen to my voice or the podcast or just be in my presence, that they feel so peaceful. They feel at ease. And this is the most amazing feedback I can hear, because I learn about myself through my impact. So if they communicate to me that they are at peace, it means that I am correct in that interaction, because the peace is my signature frequency. So when you as a manifestor, you are in your power, you can choose both ways. Do I repel because I want to be protected, and I inform so I can clear the path if it's necessary, if people are in your way? Or do I initiate in order to impact with the movement of the energy from the inside out? And the inside out movement of this energy is both ways, when you repel and when you initiate something to the world in the interaction with the world. So this is what I told my client, and this is also my experience and how I experimented with my human design. And the story of that kid who is now an adult was really confirming to my own experience, and I just really wanted to tell you that. And today I received a message from my client, from the week ago. And that's why I'm recording this podcast, because she wanted to inform me about how much of the impact our session had and what has happened in her own life through her own experiment with that. So she had interaction with her daughter, and she was practicing remembrance and connection to her body and what she wants to do at that moment, if she wants to connect or not. And when she connected through that, and she was in her own presence, not even saying anything to her daughter said to her, "Mama, I would like to tell you about your aura." And mind you, she doesn't know anything about this session or aura as of manifestor. She is, according to my client, she is a very spiritual girl, and she can sense and see the aura itself, which is super fascinating. And my client, she was surprised, and she said to her daughter, "Sure? Yeah, tell me." And her daughter said, like looking at her, it's like, "Your aura is different. It's now like glowing, and it's like this ball around you, like this glowing ball." That was like one part of that. And my client she was of course shocked and like, what is happening here? And she didn't tell her anything after that about the session and what she knows. I don't remember if the next part of the story happened immediately after the first one, but the other part was that they were laying on the bed and just next to each other. And in one point, her daughter said to her that she feels powerful energy from her, and it's really like impactful, and that she feels so much peace. And when I heard this message, it was voice message, I was like, wow, that's the experiment, guys. My client came to me and I told her what I know, what I believe to be true, through the mechanics, through my own understanding of human design and her chart. And I invited her to just experiment and see what happens. And through her experiment, only through her own experiment, she can confirm if something is true for her or not. So I invite you to experiment with that. Don't go into the victim mode, please. Don't think that being a manifestor is the death sentence with the social interactions. You can have incredible relationships. You can change lives of others. You can bring so much impact. If you believe that you are worthy of that you came here for a reason. And the more I myself align with my manifestor power, with my manifestor initiating vulnerable, sensitive spark, the more peace I have and connection with you guys, with everybody around in my life and on my own fractal. I am honored to be here and to tell you this story. Manifestor, remember that you are a powerful igniter and initiator. Remember that in your body. Feel that amazing aura that can reconfigure timelines and change lives of others while embodying this peace and spirit of freedom in your incredible, unique expression. To truly shine your essence, it is possible when you connect with your body, with your authority, with your senses, with all parts of you, those rejected, those afraid, those who want to repel, those who want to connect, those who don't give a shit about any of that. You can bring them all on board and bring your unique initiation and impact to this world. It doesn't have to be always peaceful. It can be challenging. It can be triggering for others. But it all depends on what is your intention? What is your essence? What is your purpose? And we all have different purpose. But the signature of peace can be universalized for everybody. If you embody that, that's how you impact this world. And now I would like to read you something. This is a quote from Genoa Bliven. He is a known manifestor in human design community. And he wrote something about manifestors. And I find this piece of writing one of the most impactful and empowering description of who we are. And in that quote, you will hear about manifestor child as well. And I don't want you to look at this, oh, I'm an adult now, it doesn't describe me anymore, because there is a part of you who is still that child. So Genoa wrote, quote, "If a manifestor is helping you, it is because they want to totally rock your world and turn it into something totally else. To completely remake your world. If they do this, you may feel that you are dying. It can be almost unbelievably disorienting. Manifestors are strong medicine, meant to be taken in small doses. It may be hard to imagine this kind of reality, but your manifestor brothers and sisters live in that place. They only want to strike like lightning and withdraw. When they withdraw, they push off and impact you. They impact by leaving. They are always leaving, even when they are being there for you. Even while talking to you, they are leaving, trying to make their point so they will never have to make it again. At the same time, manifestor children are the most tender beings imaginable. Gentle beyond thought or breath, they need protection because they are so alone. There is no connection to anyone for them unless this connection is totally without expectations. Imagine for a moment what this might be like, to live like this, to be a child and to be so alone. They are totally alone except for you. When you are with them, you feel alone too. Alone on the edge of a planet that has virtually no living being upon it. You like them, become the exception to the rule. It is a freaky feeling, is it not? Like there is no one else. No one. They are a being who is so ancient, yet nothing they are doing has ever been done before. Even if they are doing what you just did, it has never been done before. They are remaking the world in every second. It is weird and inspiring, but weird nonetheless. You can feel how powerful life is when you are just observing it as though it is happening to someone else. The manifestor child will stand on the edge of the play and the socializing of the others. They do not need to participate to feel totally involved, overwhelmingly involved. The world and social interaction seems huge and powerful. The manifestor child is alienated. They are alien. They are tender and vulnerable and cannot join in, not in the same way as others. They feel so close and alone at the same time. They just need your simple understanding of these simple facts. They came to Earth to change the world. Change is scary. It is stressful. It is stressful for everyone, even manifestors, especially manifestors. They are hanging onto their humanity with the tiniest little thread. You can just stand next to them and hold it with them. You need to be so very subtle. Never place an expectation on them of any kind, and you will be their friend for life. Such behavior is so rare. Manifestors get hardened through the expectations of others. No one suffers more because of this hardening than manifestors themselves. Manifestors are naturally tender. Let's do what we can to keep them that way. Ironically, it is through doing nothing that they feel closest to you. They can feel close to you from a vast distance, even when they are standing right next to you. This vast distance is so important to give them because through it, they will be close. So close, you can hardly believe it is possible. Closer than your own breath, your own thoughts. This is the secret of manifestors. You give them space, lots of it, and they will come close to you and love you forever. And when I read that, when I read it for the first time, it really touched me and it ignited something in me, something so beautiful and powerful, because I can be so close to you, to everybody, no matter of my aura, especially because of my aura, which is a paradox, which you can get only if you are a manifestor. Deep down, you know what we are talking about here. And if you don't know yet, you will. If you desire to finally integrate the information about your human design configuration with practical, body-led somatic approach to stepping into your unique purpose, I got you. You can join my 2-day free workshop, The Somatic Map to Your Life Purpose, where I will break down the key components of your human design chart and somatic parts work that influence the quality of attunement to your unique self-expression and your mission in this world. You will learn about the multidimensional and innovative way of looking at your human design chart that invites even more of embodiment to your experiment than just basic, but still important, human design strategy and authority. I am so looking forward to taking you on this journey, so if you feel a hell yes, join me through the link in the description below.